Sometime today.
All right, so we are at 11:40 a.m.
I don't think I'm unmuted. Let me make.
Mute and record. Let's get this party started.
Could somebody online tell me for sure that you can hear us, please?
Yeah, I can hear
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. Okay, now you go.
All right. Okay, so it looks like we have critical mass. Everybody is settled in. Lunch has been served on the table. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 11:40 a.m. Welcome to the Modesto Chamber of Commerce Government Relations Council meeting for the month of February. I hope everybody had a wonderful Valentine's Day and are looking forward to a 3-day weekend, because I certainly am. Let's take a moment to do introductions. It doesn't look like there's too many folks joining us online, so let's start there, and then we'll make our way around the table. Please sign in so we have an accurate head count for today's meeting. If you have not already on your way out, just jot your name down. Emails aren't important, because if you found your way here, then we have it on file, but I'd like to just know that your name is on that list. So let's start with off mute first.
Hi, good afternoon, or still morning. Dana Ferreira, Regulatory Analyst for Modesto Irrigation District.
Good morning, Diana Ruiz Del Rey, City of Modesto Communications and Media Relations.
Donna?
Good morning, Donna Linder, Stanislaus County Clerk Recorder Registrar of Voters.
Might be
That's
everybody.
it.
All right, very good. Okay, Michael Gaffney, Chair of Relations Council, and my day job is with PG&E. Trish?
Trish Christensen, President and CEO of the Modesto Chamber of Commerce.
Todd Aronson, captain and pilot of the Almond Blossom Cruise.
Sonia Severo, Public Relations and Legislative for Stanislaus County. However, this will be my last meeting representing Stanislaus County. The next time I show up, I'll be here representing the city of Modesto.
What role? I may have missed that.
I've accepted the role as Public Relations and Legislative Affairs.
Oh, excellent, thank you.
Right, Destiny Suarez, field representative for Senator Maria Alvarado, as well as her communication.
Patrick Shields, field representative and assistant to supervisor and chairman of board of supervisors Manny Graywall. We're gonna miss Sonia a lot. City of Modesto, stop stealing people. Joe, Mayor. Thank you, guys.
Gavin Klein, I'm a field representative of Congressman Don's office. Justin Parkins, representing the office of Assemblyman One. Chris Maxfield, this is my first meeting from Pathway Family.
So let's say manager, let's say Modesto.
Liz?
Affidavit, down the David.
John Beckman Building Industry Association.
David Wright. City Council.
Andrew Mendoza, ex representative.
She's also community volunteer, and I'm here to support them.
Suze Wallet, Mayor of Modesto. Christine Schweiniger, Valley Builders.
Kelly Talent Martin, Senior Property Manager for the Mall and Chamber Board.
Kirsty Boyette, Chamber Board Chair.
Thank you very much. Nice to see everybody's faces. Thanks for joining online. Has anybody had a chance to read the minutes from the previous month's meeting? They were in your board packet and they're also on the front table. If you'd like to make a motion to approve them. Cecil first, second Christine, all in favor, aye. Anyone opposed? Thank you. The consent agenda motion carries as is. We will move into report outs. Shall we skip the city of Modesto and wait for the presentation, or are there any other general updates you'd like to provide? All right, very good. Stanislaus County?
No updates.
No updates other than personnel changes.
I love the chuckle.
The grass may or may not be greener on the other side. You let us know.
I do have a nice, announcement. One of my last duties of the Stanislaus County would be to get out a save the date for the state of the county of address, which is gonna be on April 25th, 2024, and it's gonna be hosted at the Modesto Library.
Okay. Let us know.
We'll get that over.
Thank you, ma'am.
Excellent. Is that during the day?
It will be in the evening. We are still working on a time, but we just wanted to get the save the date out. What was that date again, Sonia? April 25th.
So state of the county. Yes,
Yes.
and then state of the city. Remind me, I saw a flyer go out recently.
It's March 7th at 5:30 at the State Theater. There will be giving a state of the city, and we'll also be premiering our documentary on county.
Oh, nice.
At the state theater.
State of the day.
Well, popcorn is great for everybody.
We will. Absolutely.
Very good.
Is Big Mike, buying popcorn?
And then you're promoting both events online? Okay, excellent.
I asked for the mayor one yesterday. We weren't on the. For future reference, we weren't in the loop, so I didn't actually get the flyer. I asked for the flyer
For the-
yesterday.
It actually looked like not you, Trish.
Uh-oh.
He's more important anyway. It's all good.
Oh, man.
We've updated them.
Okay. All right. We wish you the best. Hopefully you have great attendance at both events. Assemblyman Juan Alanise's office, Justin?
Yeah, not too much to report, other than, well, one, we've been doing a lot of work here in the district, getting really, intimate understanding of what's happening here in the district, especially in the realm of water and agriculture. We actually took a trip on Tuesday, myself and the assemblyman, actually our entire district staff went down to Tulare and got to experience the Tulare Ag Expo, World Ag Expo, which is wrapping up here this week. We were able to see hundreds of our constituents there, dozens of companies that do business here in Stanislaus County specifically, and showing off their product to the rest of the world down in Tulare. It was really awesome experience. We also spent yesterday with Turlock Irrigation District, checking out their fleet and fabrication division, and talking about some of the regulations that are coming down the pipeline, especially with CARB and the changes being required for electrical vehicles to the fleets of public institutions. I'm sure the city and Public Works and things are really starting to work on those issues as well. And today was the deadline for legislation introduction. So I don't have too much information for you yet on what we're planning to be introducing, other than the main pillars we're focusing on will be affordability, public safety, and education. So we'll be dealing with all of those legislature this year, and at the next meeting, we should have a better idea. We should all have a better idea of what bills we plan to push forward through legislature.
All right, any questions for Justin? Thank you for the update. Senator Maria Alvarado Gil's office, excuse me. Destiny?
So this week also, the senator had a lot of legislation. So she started off by publishing SB 1074. This bill is going to focus specifically on sexually violent predators. Recently, last week, we did a Merced press release because there was the Department of State Hospitals is making another SBP without notification or transparency in Merced County, which is very small. She has like 2% of that county or so. And so this is just one out of the 4 cases she's been working on throughout the last year. And so she's starting to do a bill now that will focus on making sure that there's accountability and transparency on the releases of sexually violent predators. And she also just did a co-ed. If you'd like to read it, I can always get that for you. And then she did just publish another bill, SB 1261. This one will focus more on local and state funding for fairs. She was really heavy in the fairs last year, and we will be really heavy in the fairs again this year. So you'll see us out there, but she wants to emphasize the need to ensure that we are making our economy more steady and uprising for fairs. And then there's another bill last year. Senator Redone was SB 226 regarding fentanyl. last week, or no, beginning of this week, there were 4 related cases of deaths in Lake Tahoe, Partially District, that died of the fentanyl overdose. And so she is now partnering up with Assembly Member Philip Cueto. Carlos Philip, oh, my bad. And he will be now taking this fentanyl bill over, and it's gonna be called 82336, with the same idea to fight the fentanyl and to ensure that regulations are hitting more harder on fentanyl. And then last week today, Senator did just pronounce, I'm make sure I get it right. She did just pronounce today, she presented a resolution for Almond Day. She did that, and then she did in Human Services earlier this week to address the urgent need for reform for child safety. So there was a lot this week, and it's still going on until the end of the day.
And Politico is having a moment, they call that stuff good. Unheard.
Yes, there should be a press release going out, probably any minute now. That's my report.
Any questions for Destiny? Moving into Congressman McClintock's office, looks like they're absent today. We'll move into Congressman Duarte's office. Gavin.
Thank you, everybody. Like Destiny said, happy National Almond Day. The Congressman was able to read into the record, for congressional record in regards to National Almond Day. We understand how important the growers and the producers are in this area and how important the agricultural area is for this. But I want to talk about a bill that Congressman Duarte introduced 2 weeks ago. Congressman Duarte held a press conference in Modesto introducing the bipartisan high intensity drug trafficking area IDA bill. It's the Reauthorization Act of 2024. It provides $300 million annually to help stop the spread of fentanyl and other illicit drugs across the United States and the Central Valley. Congressman Duarte at the press conference was joined by local law enforcement, district attorneys, behavioral health recovery services, and he's both supported by Democrats and Republicans in the House. This bill would provide the necessary resources for local law enforcement in general to continue the fight of the epidemic sweeping our nation and poisoning our communities of fentanyl. And what this bill does is reauthorizes the HIDA program at $302 million annually through fiscal year 2030, which is a $22 million annual increase. It creates a new grant program within the HIDA program that individual HIDAs can apply to enhance fentanyl seizure and interdictive activities. It requires reporting on coordination between law enforcement, immigration authorities to crack down on international drug cartels. And it directs the U.S. General Attorney to assign no less than 16 United States attorneys to the individual HIDAs at HIDA's request to prioritize the investigation and prosecution of organizations trafficking fentanyl and individuals to ensure that these criminals are prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And Congressman Duarte throughout the district has seen the toll fentanyl has taken on our children, on our families and the community. For Americans aged 18 to 45, fentanyl is the leading cause of death. Before it used to be car accidents, suicides, now it's fentanyl. Last year alone was 112,000 deaths. Congressman Duarte is committed to supporting our local law enforcement agencies to ensure the fight of fentanyl and to protect our communities and to prevent the poisoning that's happening. So we're really excited about this bill, and it's supported by both aisles on the House are really excited with this bill.
Any questions for Gavin? Moving into other updates such as utilities, League of California Cities. Stephen Qualls couldn't be here with us today. I see Dana just came on camera. If you want to come off mute.
Hello, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to provide an update. As many of you know, we had a very big storm, tremendous amount of winds. MID did suffer some outages, but thankfully we were able to get most of our customers back online within a couple of hours, and just thankful that there wasn't as much damage as some of our neighboring utilities faced. And let's see, this year is going to be very heavily focused on climate with some of the bills being introduced, and also heavy on regulatory. So it's going to be another busy season here at MID.
Well, I will say that my power was restored in less than 90 minutes and I appreciate that very, very much. My son is not happy when we don't have Wi-Fi. Neither is my wife.
Wonderful, glad to hear it.
How many Mylar related outages yesterday on V-Day?
You know, funny you should ask. I do know of one. Now, whether more came through, but I do know of one, unfortunately, with as much advertising and as many years as we've been advertising it, and between PG&E, TID, and MID, unfortunately, the Central Valley still does see Mylar balloon outages.
So keep that in mind during graduation season, which is right around the corner. The rubbery latex style balloons over the Mylar, which are highly conductive. Okay, that's all for report outs. Does anybody have anything to share before we move into our guest presentation? Do you have anything you'd like to share with us? Any upcoming events? Thanks to those who attended the soiree.
Yeah, it's more, we got through soiree. I don't have anything specific, other than our standing meetings. We just had a green team meeting yesterday. EDC will be in a couple of weeks. I have a couple things in the works, that I don't have collateral built for because they all started to confirm this week. So essentially more to come over the next week or two, if that's okay.
Chair here quickly, given the fentanyl bills that are taking place that were made. As many of you might know already, at emergency rooms here at the Western Medical Center. If individuals want to get Narcan, they just come into our ER. Adults, families and individuals can come and get the Narcan for free. You don't have to be a council member. Just come to the rooms and get some. And as you know, people can move their cars, they can move backpacks, people can move areas.
1117.
So, if needed, wherever you're at, if it's an incident, they will have that event to help to the community. So again, free available at emergency rooms and in Manteca too. Not just emergency rooms throughout northern Southern California.
Thank you for that. It's important. Good information. I know they're popping up in all the school classrooms, I think too, which is also important. So whoever's distributing that, thank you very, very much. The AED and Narcan, I think, is something that all of those types of businesses and institutions should have on hand, readily available. Saves lives. That's important. So without further ado, let's get into our guest speaker, our very own city manager, the city of Modesto, Joe Lopez, who has come here to update us on Measure H. If all you remember, 1% sales tax measure that the chamber supported under two conditions. One was that we had representation on the oversight committee, which we do. Kirsty Boyette to my right is the vice chair, and she represents District 4, which is council member Chris Ricky's district. And then Mike Meridian is the member at large, also serving on that oversight committee. So I think that we have three college area.
Oh, what do I?
Three college area, three. Mine too. I should have known that. I misspoke. And then Mike Meridian, member at large. That was condition number one. Condition number two is that we would receive regular check-ins with the city staff to ensure that the money is being spent responsibly. And Joe is here to take it away and let us know so we can breathe easy.
Can you mind going over to the?
Where's that?
Sorry that the copies are not that great. Our printer is actually not working very well, and only if we have some money to buy a new printer. For those that know me, you know how frugal I am. Spending it on a printer doesn't sound all that great.
Take it out of the council budget.
Which one am I clicking on, Liz?
Go from the beginning.
Our lab.
There, thank you.
All right. Thank you for having me here today. I appreciate the opportunity to give you guys an update on Measure H. Prior to going into kind of what we've done, and just kind of recap of why we needed Measure H. So as you can see on this chart, our revenues and the revenues from most cities are
basically generated from two major sources, property tax and sales tax. Of which the Central Valley and Stanislaus in particular are relatively low in comparison to our comparable communities. You can see, this was done over two different periods of time. In 2014, we updated it again in 21, 22. And we lag significantly behind all of our pair communities. What this basically translated to is we had 40% less revenues than what our peers did to provide services. And as we were going through Measure H, I like to reiterate to everybody, while Modesto's has somewhat of a small town feel, we are a large city. We have big city problems that we need to address. One of our most telling statistics was 81% of our general fund budget was dedicated to public safety. That was a very dangerous number in local government. The Government Finance Officers Association means when you reach 80%, you're essentially service insolvent, which means you are only providing public safety services to your community and essentially nothing else. And if you looked around the city during this period of time, you saw the reductions that trees weren't getting trimmed, parks weren't getting fixed. We were basically providing public safety at that point. And honestly, we probably weren't providing it very well because we didn't have the resources there either. As our population grew, we were continually reducing our police force. We had a high of about 200.
Sorry, I might have caused that.
Sorry. We had a high of, I want to say 286 sworn. We had gotten down to 203 sworn before we had passed the sales tax. So we had more police problems and less police to deal with those problems that were. We reduced our traffic division. On our peak, we had 20 traffic officers. Prior to Measure H, we had 4. We eliminated half our gangs, eliminated area command, and our community services officers were reduced by 35%. So all we were doing, we were in reduction mode. And because our budget was so heavily funded towards public safety, our only avenue of reduction was in public safety. And as I mentioned, what the net effect of that was, the rest of the city was deteriorating. We generated over $100 million in deferred maintenance. Our park playgrounds, some of them were roped off, couldn't even use them because there were some kind of deficiency with playground equipment. We had bathrooms that were closed all over the city because of vandalism, homeless that were in the restrooms. They were causing disruption, blowing up toilets and sinks and things of that nature. How many people in here who live in the city of Modesto has called in a tree complaint? Probably a lot. It's one of the highest call lines we get is tree related issues and then illegal dumping. When we did our community survey in 2019, one of the biggest issues our residents had in the city of Modesto was blight. Blight was everywhere. You saw the mattresses on the side of the road, you saw couches, refrigerators, and everything else. It was our #1 issue. We were seeing 5,000 cases of illegal dumping. That was a tremendous amount, and we could not keep up. We had one blight team. We couldn't keep up. So Measure H was the 1 cent sales tax, and it was for city patrols, drug crime prevention, fire protection, addressing homelessness, cleaning up trash and illegal dumping, and keeping our streets, parks, sidewalks, landscapes, and infrastructure safe, clean, and well maintained. And I will note, Measure H passed with 62.89%, which is an astounding number. There were people out there who thought we would never pass Measure H. I'd like to appreciate the chamber for their support. And Measure H, it was definitely needed. And I think our community finally saw that we absolutely needed it if we were ever going to improve as a community. So I appreciate all the support. We couldn't have done it if we hadn't all come together. It was a tremendous campaign of both public and private partnerships are coming together to do better for our community. And that's what it was. It passes in Measure H. And I'll speak on behalf of the mayor and Dave, if you don't mind. With that, I tell a funny story of, I'll never forget that night where I go to look at the results, right? And I'm not in my stomach. I don't want to look at it because I don't want to know what the results were. I go down and I see the initial results and I'm ecstatic for about 2 seconds. Then the third second is what a tremendous amount of responsibility that this is going to be placed on the city of Modesto. We take it very seriously, we take delivering on our promises very seriously. We made commitments to everybody, including the chamber, all of our partners, that we are gonna use this money wisely, we're gonna deliver on our promises. And that's what we're gonna.
Hey, Joe, hang on a second, please. Dana, could, if he clicks the slide forward or backward, could you unmute and tell us what's happening?
It's not advancing at all. All we're seeing is,
Oh, you know what? Let me stop screen sharing and reshare. This is probably outside. Sorry, Joe.
there we go. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you. Hi, Courtney.
All right, so with that responsibility, we knew we needed to set out on a sustainable spending plan. This is our logo that you'll see us, put around town whenever we're doing Measure H projects. But one of the most important things that, I felt was important as we were developing the spending plan was because we got so much deferred maintenance, that we needed to spend the early years dealing with all of our deferred maintenance, the deferred maintenance in parks, deferred maintenance in our facilities, and not just add a bunch of positions to add positions. That wasn't going to be effective for anybody. And the other joke I like to tell people is, as long as I'm city manager, this sales tax is gonna last, because if I have to go out for another sales tax, I will not be the city manager anymore. And we are gonna create a sustainable spending plan one way or another. So again, a lot of one-time funding early with low ongoing. Eventually that line will cross as we get caught up on our deferred maintenance, mainly in our public safety arenas. So in February, right after the tax passed, so February 2023, council adopted what we call our quick wins. How can we get out in the community as quickly as possible and start delivering on our promises? We created our drive up and drop off events. Those have been extremely successful. On the right, you see the Pellendale Road cleanup. But one of the things that we did there was we've identified our major roadways, so Briggsmore, Pellendale, Sisk. Fourth, blanking on what the fourth is. And we contract with Grover to do quarterly cleanups of those roadways. So they'll go out there, they'll trim the bushes, they'll pick up the trash. And then
Yosemite?
supplement it with our,
Yosemite, maybe?
yeah. Sisk, Briggsmore, Pellendale.
Okay, doesn't matter.
And then trees was our, so we entered into new contracts for trees, both in the as well as our street trees.
You said that's quarterly?
We do it quarterly.
I can share a fun fact for you. As the tree crews rolled out so quickly in the neighborhoods, when they went through the park that I live next to and they raised the canopy up, all the homeless moved out of the park almost overnight. It was instant.
Great. So, and then we adopted the 23-24 budget, as I said, with the theory that we're going to do a lot of it one time and then we'll add ongoing later. So you can see where we've allocated the funding within the Measure H spending plan. So far we've allocated 30, I think that's 36. If I remember correctly, and $36.2 million.
Joe, may I ask questions?
Sure.
Under the fire, $4.5 million, what specifically would they be using that money for? Okay, thank you.
So you can kind of see where all the money has been dedicated. So of that 36.2 million, only 11.6 million of that is ongoing funding today. So you can see that 10.8 million, that's not a lot of staff. That's do parks, do restrooms, and actually. Okay. For preventative maintenance, park upgrades, the synthetic turf out at Marion Road. So we had to remove a lot of the shade canopies. So at Lakewood, Cypher, Sherwood, and Weston Park. We have restroom replacements at Mark Twain, Robinson Road, and Grisada. So all those parks are getting new bathrooms. We resurfaced tennis courts at Grisada. Roosevelt, East Loma, Sutton Park, and Byron Park. We're also repairing, all of the sidewalks, within the park system to avoid tripping hazards. But we were also very cognizant of making sure that not just one area got resources. We were very diligent in making sure that the resources that we were spending on our park system was consistent throughout the entire city. You can see a lot of it was actually spent down here in District 2 with additional funding in Cesar Chavez Park. And then you can see around the rest of the city where some of the parks improvements were happening. So here's some before and after pictures. See, we're fixing sidewalks, one of our new playground structures. There's some of your canopy that's been taken care of. So that before picture is what the basketball court used to look like. Now it's this basketball court. Is that Orchard? Thank you. All right, police department. So with the police department, we had to be very diligent about how we went about this. We are already struggling mightily to find police officers. We knew we weren't just going to go in and start adding police officers that we could hire. All that would have done was eat up budget that then would have got put back into fund balance that wouldn't get allocated. So what we ended up doing is we added 15 recruit positions. So these are actually just like placeholders. So when we get somebody who applies to be a police officer, they got to go to the academy and stuff. We stick them in this position, which frees up our other police officer positions. It's like a placeholder. It's a lower cost position for us. We added 5 CSOs, 4 park rangers, 1 lieutenant, and that 1 lieutenant is for area command. So area command is one area in particular that we're very excited to bring back. We had it, I want to say in the late 2000, like 2008, before the recession happened. So what happens with area command is we break the city up into quadrants. And think about it, each quadrant has a different need. So what's happening along the CIS corridor isn't going to be the same that happens in Davis District, District 6. Different needs. And what happens in District 2 is different needs than what happens in District 5. So the goal is that each of those areas is going to have a lieutenant who's going to be like the mini chief of those areas. And so they will have the specialized units that they will need to address the concerns of those areas. Mall, CIS Road, commercial businesses, preventing commercial burglaries and things of that nature is going to be more important. Versus in District 2, where crime reduction, gang units, and the like might be more important. Up north, where maybe traffic is more of a concern, they're going to have more traffic units. So we will adjust our resources to the needs of those areas. That lieutenant will be responsible for making sure that the specific needs of those areas are the ones that are going to be addressed. Again, that though is hampered by our ability to hire police officers. Now, I will say there's a positive here because we have seen a significant uptick in the amount of people trying to be police officers. We have a dedicated recruitment team at the PD. We've been very successful. I'm pretty confident that we're going to be able to grow our police force over the next couple of years. Problem with hiring police officers also is it takes a long time to get them on the street. You got a long hiring process, you got a long training academy, you got a long FTO. So it takes about 18 months to cut them loose on the streets. So it just takes us a long time to build out traffic. So I was doing these presentations prior to Measure H. Traffic around the city. You guys drive around here, it's an absolute nightmare. I drive it every day. I see at least one red light runner a week. It drives me absolutely insane. We need to reverse the trends of traffic in this community. We know it. It is one of our #1 goals is to start bringing back traffic enforcement, how we can affect the behaviors of the drivers. That's not lost on us. That's a major goal. So here's just some pictures here. We're up to 12 chat workers and 12 park rangers. Now, we can't hire park rangers either. We're about to fix that. That's a recruiting issue. We're going to fix that. Our chat team, they've just been a tremendous asset to our community. Not just, harassing homeless like people like to say. We're actually trying to help our homeless population, get them off the street, get them the services that they need, time to the resources that they need to be successful.
Just going back to that real quick, this morning I saw for the first time in a long time, traveling Tully from Roseburg to Pellendale to drop my son off at school, 2 motorcycle cops. And that is so effective, even if they're just like sitting on the corner watching people, because people know it's a big deterrent for red light runners. It keeps the crosswalks along all of those schools on Tully Road much, much safer. So it's great to see those guys back out in full force. So if that is a result of this money, that's enough for me. Cause it's just huge. The park rangers, quick story, a buddy of mine were playing with the kids at Roosevelt Park. He had them on speed dial somehow. They came in like less than 15 minutes and took care of what we asked them to take care of, moving some folks out, made the park safer. It was non-confrontational, very quiet, and wasn't even really noticeable. But people notice when we get that level of support from the city and from PD. So thank you for that.
That's great to hear. Thank you for sharing.
And then, Joe, could I just ask, what's driving that, or what do you think is driving that resurgence and interest in being an officer?
Honestly, also, we passed a better labor. That made us more competitive. We were losing a significant amount of individuals to the county, but now we're taking them back from the county.
Well, we lost them to Mountain House, right? Lathrop area.
We lost a lot. We actually, like the air dirty laundry, but we've seen a lot of them wanting to come back, and it's kind of like, well, you abandoned us in our time of need. And we hired them, but we hired back quality ones. Let's say that. But
And I think that's an important part is that, you know, out of the 100 applicants that we might get, well, we are very few of them that people qualify. Our standards are much higher than any of the courses in California. And so a lot of times, if an applicant is not hitting our standards, there's cities all around us will take them. So we have very high standards, which is probably that's one thing for the council. So we have to make sure.
That's not something we'll ever sacrifice on.
Yeah, I'll add to that too. I sit on the Community Police Review Board, and so I've seen some of the research and comparatives on that. We maintain very high standards and excellent training protocols for our department.
It's an absolute necessity. There's nothing worse than hiring bad officers, and we have to make sure that our standards remain high. You get more out of good quality candidates. Just having quantity doesn't matter to our community. Having good quality police officers.
The department's social media presence, they're doing an excellent job of promoting their recruiting too. They really do.
They're very good. I forgot to mention too, we did just purchase a new camera system for the downtown. You guys heard of that? I think we have 30 new locations in the downtown. All of this is going to tie back to our real-time crime center. We have huge aspirations for our police department. We are very technologically based. The more we can do remotely with cameras and non-sworn personnel, that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to see a significant improvement in the downtown in terms of our safety down here. Cameras go a long way at helping that. I'll also give a little plug. Council that's here already knows this. You're going to see us go for more non-sworn personnel in next year's budget. I don't see us adding more sworn officers at this point in time because we still have a significant number of vacancies. I think we're right about 18 vacancies in our sworn. But we can do a lot with our non-sworn, our chat workers, park rangers, or CSOs, and even bringing online our telephone reporting. That's going to be another that we're looking at with us 911. We don't need a sworn officer responding to a stolen bike, and we don't even need a CSO responding to a stolen bike. Take a report over the phone, get it you in your system, get you what you may need for your insurance, without sending personnel. So about working smarter, not harder, and really utilizing the resources that we know we have to us.
So along those lines, why does traffic have to be sworn officers? Why can't there be
Right.
kind of a hybrid?
It's the ticket. We're enforcing the penal code. That requires.
But we are going to be adding some red light. Service.
We're examining.
Yeah. Red light, double red light, ticket, but when you run a red light completely through.
What has been the effect of the, yellow?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
coupons
I
here,
like that.
Right.
you know, particularly for left turns or whatever.
I don't know that I've
Is
seen.
that a federal program?
We did get state grant money for that. I don't know how the effect of it. I will. I mean, the qualitative information I've gotten is that people can see the lights better, it's better reflective at night. I'm hearing that, but I haven't heard whether or not there's a reduction in crashes or pedestrian injuries or anything like that. I don't have that. I don't think we have all the data yet on, because we're still to people
Well,
get caught in that traffic, you know.
One of the things that I agree with you, technology, particularly for traffic enforcement, and technology is going to become more of an answer or tool that needs to be deployed.
So couldn't agree with you more, and that is no more evident than our license plate reader technology. So they're called LPRs. If you're paying attention to our auto theft numbers, they are so far down that it's unbelievable. We had another negative year last year. I think we got to 54 in the state. We're gonna drop this auto theft and stuff in the state of California. Well, we're down again. I expect us to be further down on that. And just by and large, if you look at our crime numbers, we are significantly down. That just is a testament to our police department, our use of technology, really just being smarter with the way we police our community, I think is going.
So the deployment of the drones and that, has that been?
Plane has been very effective. It's really the license plate readers or the effect they have on auto theft is. So when we had the cyber attack, last, I guess it was about a year ago, we had to take our LPRs off, auto theft shot up immediately. It was amazing to see, and as soon as you brought them back on, boom, they collapsed again. I don't think the thieves are that smart to know when they're on or off, but I can't ignore that coincidence. I mean, it basically went up by 2.5 times in that one month period when it's off. So I don't think you can ignore that data. All right, how it works. Trees. We have added, what did we add? We added a new bucket truck and a new forestry crew, a new pruning crew, and we redid contractors who are also coming alongside our crews and supplementing their work as well. Our tree pruning used to average around 7,000 to 8,000 trees a year. Last year was at 12,000. So we're already making our headway there. Curb gutter and sidewalk, we had a backlog of 5,000 sidewalks. We've also hired a contractor. We did 1,000 sidewalks last year. So we're gonna just keep chipping away at this until we get back up and running. Slurry seal, we did 50% more lane miles last year than we did before. We're doing the facility master plan to determine all city facilities and give us a way that we can progressively start chipping away at the city facilities and getting them back up to speed. Blight abatement teams, we've added 2 new teams to our blight abatement team. They're in various areas of the organization. They literally drive around all day, pick up garbage. We know where our hot spots are. The sooner we pick them up, the sooner that it's not going to continue to proliferate. One of the things that we have seen, if you leave garbage out, it's kind of a broken window theory. You have a broken window, the next house is going to have a broken window, and the next house is going to have a broken window. No one cares. Sooner you repair that broken window, it stops. We see that with tagging, we see that with blight. I don't know if you guys, it looks much better out there today, at least in what I'm seeing. I don't see it nearly as much. When I do see it, I call Bill Sandu, our public works director. They're out there within a couple hours cleaning up that mattress.
So, Joe, on the increased road maintenance, that's on top of Measure Bell.
That's correct.
It was about $1 million a year. That was the only budget we had. What are the reasons that we said passing that to do more road repair and that? So has that increased that $1 million under the general fund?
It has. We supplemented. We bought a new slurry truck, so now we have 2 of them. So we're doing about 208 miles a year. About a
And
hundred.
that's in conjunction with the Measure L.
Correct. Like we're getting ready to do our 5-year plan. We created a 5-year plan a few years ago. For Measure L, that was both rehabs, which are like full redos of roads, and slurry program. Very conscious of how they blend together. We're getting ready to redo that, and now that we have the slurry truck, we can preserve some of our not as bad roads for a little bit longer while Measure L comes up to help prepare the road to the way. Here's some of our crews out here working. Trees, I can't emphasize enough, huge problem for us, and it's nice to be able to get them out there and working. Fire department, we added 7 full-time positions. Advanced life support is the biggest one that we are adding for fire right now. We added 3 EMS captains. We are getting ready to take an item to council. We just went to committee and go to council, either the next meeting or the one after that. It's adding what's called single role paramedics. They will be assigned to help kind of triage some of the patients out there, particularly with homeless. We've got training for the single roles to help with our homeless population. They'll ride alongside chat. Our EMS captains are actually responding to calls and supplementing AMR. You guys all know, and the mayor will tell you, every second counts in a life and death emergency. So we're trying to get there as quickly as possible. Fire Station 1 is old, dilapidated. You guys don't know, our firefighters can't even live in that facility. They live in an administrative building store. So we're continuing to put money away for Fire Station 1. It's going to be about a $15 million bill. So we're just trying to put money away to we can start making headway on that.
Do you expect to replace one where one is? So in a different location?
That's our goal right now.
Want me to speak to advanced life support, mentioning everyone in the room knows, but the difference is with advanced life support compared to basic life support. In advanced life support, it's a paramedic who is, an EMT cannot do this. EMT can give oxygen and help where they can. A paramedic can intubate a patient, which means put a tube into their lungs and breathe for them. And can also start IVs to give life-saving medications. That's the difference. So if you're really trying to resuscitate a patient that's had a cardiopulmonary arrest, you really need a paramedic to intubate and to start the IV and give the medication. Otherwise, they can do, EMT can do CPR and put an oxygen mask, but it's not having the same effect to really save that life.
So all the AMR are paramedic.
Well,
Yes.
they have both, but they're mainly.
One paramedic, you know, as long as they have one, then the paramedic can do all of that.
Only AMR can transport patients. This is the difference. So they can transport patients, but if they have what's called condition 0, if they go to condition 0, that means there's no ambulances in our area. So there would be no one to respond. That's why we felt adding ALS to our engines, adding more captains who can respond, supplement that deficiency that AMR was having. Now, AMR is made strike. I'm not going to throw AMR on the bus. They were having a hard time recruiting paramedics. They kind of righted that, so we have a better situation here. Still, we have our facilities right near, they're strategically placed. We can respond quicker, better, various.
Yeah, and I want to, emphasize that AMR's problems, create serious health risks for our residents. So,
Hi, Chris, we didn't know you joined. Hang on a second. Oh, look, we have a couple others that have
I
joined.
thought it was the voice of my head.
I had the screen minimized. We were only seeing one. I didn't know
yeah.
you were there. All of a sudden your voice broke through.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just really pleased we did this because it makes the community safer, and that's always been, I think, all of our priority on the council.
Okay, thank you for popping in. Hi, Jessica and John. We see you now too. Thank you.
Right. So one of the other areas, obviously homeless is a big issue in the community. We continue to address homelessness with the Camp Home program. very proud of that. And again, I'm just gonna shout out, the Mayor State of the City is March 7th. We're gonna do, our documentary that we created on Camp the Home. If you guys haven't seen our videos on Facebook and Instagram, we encourage you to check it out. One of the things we did here was we increased funding for downtown streets team. We actually made a parks team. So not just cleaning up our streets and our roadways. We actually created a team that's gonna go to the parks, to collect beetles, garbage. In our parks, they just supplement our park maintenance staff, and they do a great job. Blight abatement equipment, I already talked about that. Code enforcement officers, this is gonna be another particular area that you will find in next year's budget. NPU, which is Neighborhood Preservation Unit, used to reside in our Community Economic Development Department. We have switched that over into the police department, and it's gonna align with the area command. So code enforcement goes well beyond just like the traditional code enforcement. We're very reactive today. We want to switch to a proactive stance. Start addressing some of the more common issues that we're seeing in our neighborhoods. This isn't just about like parking on lawns. This is about weeds, trash, things that are vacant buildings, things like that. How are we going to proactively address those things? You're going to see that in our next budget. Our rental housing program that we created a couple of years ago had no funding. We now have funding. We've started that program. We're already starting to see an impact it's having. We're starting to find more and more of these rental units that are just completely dilapidated. No one should be living in them. And we're getting people into solid housing so that they don't have to live in these conditions. And then the council made a significant investment in bridge housing. Bridge housing is basically how do we get people stabilized to get them into that don't want to go into shelters. They don't want to go that. Bridge housing is an intermediate step. They're basically all shelters that you see. We've created proposals to solicit operators, service providers, and then we're looking for our partners in the community who have available land that are willing to take this on, put them on their property, and we're going to help supplement those costs with Measure H. So we're really excited about that. We're starting to see some uptick in our proposals, and I'm very excited to start bringing some of that forward. Here's just some of the things we've been able to do. Our chat team right there, some of our success stories. As was mentioned earlier, we do have the Measure H Oversight Board. Appreciate you being on the board. Hopefully you're getting the information you need. You guys have met twice, 3 times. We bring all the requested documentation. We keep them updated on our expenditures. Again, that accountability is so important to our council and to me. We want to make sure that we are doing what we said we're doing. If we're not, we'll expect and we'll hope everyone would call us out on it. We're here to deliver for our community, and that's what our goal is. So we also have created a website. Go to our website, go to Measure H. We did pull it up real quick. Tricia, you mind go on?
Yeah, I have to stop sharing and reshare. So just give me a second. This one, right?
Doing that, and I brought this up at our Measure H Oversight Committee meeting. I mean, I get nervous and I'm like, I shop only in Modesto, like I'm not gonna go to that Costco in Riverbank because I want our dollars to be here. I mean, it's like a little thing, but people don't think about it that way. You know, how do we tell our Modesto constituents that although it might be a little closer, your police and your parks are being improved because of the dollars staying in our city, even though Riverbank's gonna have a great brand new, that whole center, the dollars are not coming here.
Well, we'll tell our new public relations legislative fair
You
manager
know,
that.
right now. Fresno and Clovis had similar issues, right? So because they're, and so there was this sort of a funny saying, if anyone's lived from Fresno, that area, it was, you know, I'm probably gonna get backwards, because I worked in Fresno, but I lived in Clovis, but it's like the Fresno signs, the street signs were green and the Clovis ones were brown. I have that right? So if you saw brown, you turned around. So,
Oh, Lord.
yeah.
And I don't want to say Riverbank.
Well, Riverbank.
I
Yeah.
know, I know.
I can tell.
And it wasn't a campaign, it just was sort of something people jokingly referred to.
Yeah.
It's like, challenges.
So I'll let you guys go watch the video that we created. That's gonna go out on social media soon, kind of just going over some of the things I just did. Scroll down, Trish, going. Well, if you go, these little pull downs right here, you can kind of see where some of the money's been spent. But this map right here tells you kind of where things are happening. So if you click on one of the, if you click on zooms in and tells you kind of what we've done in that area. So
That's my park. See how clean it is now?
clicked on the right one. Created this, we're gonna keep this updated as much as possible, right, son? And so that you guys can see kind of what we're doing and how the improvements that we're making. All right, I think that's all I have for you. I'll answer any more questions you guys can have.
I think one of the biggest things to go for homeless is downtown street, is keeping our street clean. And a group of people, 72 or 80 people that are on the team are like family. And we were at a meeting with them yesterday.
They had their 5-year anniversary.
Yeah,
yesterday.
Oh, and you know what? These are people that have come off of drugs. They take care of each other and they feel pride that they're working hard to keep our city clean. And I told the city manager, we need to put more money into this program. We need to have 400 or 500 people on the street team. Because one of the biggest pluses I get on Facebook or emails is when people go down Bridgeport and see the yellow shirts out there picking up trash, you know, every couple of months, they're really appreciative of what we're doing. To keep our streets clean.
How do we recruit those folks? Were they homeless people?
Yeah, they are homeless that come out of our shelters. That
And so they live in their shelters and then we pay them?
No, they get a stipend. It's not a, well, so our whole Camp to Home program is, you know, it's downtown streets team is the first step.
Some people.
And they get a stipend for food or housing or whatever it may be. The next step is we have our partners, the private sector partner. We also have individuals that we've hired, actually pay them a wage so that they can start earning income. And as they move along the employment continuum, we're moving them along the housing. So the more resources you're able to have and put you in stable housing, that's how we know we're going to be successful in getting these people transitioning home.
Is there another group that's similar to them that's downtown?
No, that's Dobro. They kind of look the same, but that's.
Red shirt, yellow shirt.
They're still there, though.
Some of them have, I think some of the people that work, I should call them DMPs, well, they're not Dublin. That work
But
for
they were
DMP,
actually employed.
they were downtown streets. Some of them that are working for DMP were downtown streets.
It's probably one of the best things that we're doing to get people back into the job market. You know, Salvation Army and government did a great job, but this is another tool that's being used to really turn people around. And then the relationships that these people are building within themselves are relationships that last for years. And they feel like they're doing a great job. They are on cloud nine. Yesterday, it was unbelievable.
I was trying to say thank you to them, just because, you know, it goes a long way.
Just to see them on a yellow shirt, stop and
Or
tell them how.
Yeah,
great
and
they're
here,
doing.
listen to their story.
Yeah.
What time do they start? I come
Five.
out of Rotary.
1 o'clock in
and
the
I'm-
morning. so.
Because I walk, I'm going by Rotary and we'll
Yeah.
see them. I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys are up early.
I'm at the gym at 5 and they're
Yeah.
on J Street.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
lower and everything.
It's, as David said, I mean, their stories are so amazing. They asked me to speak yesterday and like listening to their stories, like I was getting choked up because they're just so incredible how it's transformed their lives. Like we like to say, this isn't about giving a handout, it's about giving a handout. How are we going to help them become self-sustainable? Like we can provide them food and money all they want, but that's not giving them the encouragement. If you listen to them, it's they're getting their dignity back, they're getting their lives back and transforming themselves. And, I said yesterday, I still can't believe it's been 5 years since we've had that program. And they will tell you that we are the best run downtown streets team in the state of California by far. Other cities try to emulate what we do, they can't come close to what we do, and that's a testament to our CED staff and just the passion that our city council has to fund this program.
So you probably never heard this. There was a conference here last year and one of the attendees, I happened to be sitting at a table with him, was from San Jose. He was with the city of San Jose. And he said, how do you keep your downtown so clean? And I said, we have downtown streets team. It actually was founded in your city. And he said, yeah, but ours isn't like this. That's how much kudos you get. And the people who come to Modesto notice. And then the Canopy team should really be congratulated. I think that storm last weekend could have been horrific for our city had you not done what you did aggressively. I know in Northern California, I think all the deaths attributed to the storm were tree deaths. And driving through my neighborhood and going through La Loma, it's amazing the trees that didn't come down this year. That was great.
We did end up with more than kind of I hoped, but we have seen over this year that there has been way less limb failure, way less trees down. And it absolutely is a testament to the preventative maintenance that we're doing. I mean, just taking off some of the heavy branches, clearing around them and giving trees a chance to grow and breathe is what's really keeping them upright. So yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. It's been very effective.
Joe, you offered the anecdote about the license plate readers going down and part of spiking up. Probably the thieves aren't paying attention to the LPRs going down, but what would you attribute that spike to?
Well, I don't know that I can explain it. I mean, because we have something called City View. City View is where departments come with their data and they kind of go through our basic trends in our data. So it was one of the ones that you can just see the consistency and then this huge spike in this month. We're like, well, what happened? And it was like, that's when the computers were down. I don't know. It had to have been an anomaly.
Well, it's possible to get like 4 people who are doing all the thefts, and when they realize they can keep doing, I mean, it's bizarre.
It could have been.
Perplexing.
It was very, I'll have to go try and figure out the answer, but I mean, because it's not like we're catching them and that's what's causing the statistic. People are reporting them, so that's how we're getting our number. So I don't know. I wish I had a better answer for you. It's just, it stood out to me.
Is there still a plan to have the dispatch for MPD moved in-house? Did I ask the wrong question?
We are having great conversations. Our commitment is to provide the best level of service to our community, whether that is in partnership with the county or not with the county. So our goal with dispatch all along, and we have a great relationship with the county. This isn't anything against them, but we have high aspirations of what we want our dispatch to be. It is the first line. You're sitting best of now. Well, we got one more check with them. We have high aspirations of what we want. It is the first line of defense of any call we get for service. And we think we can do more with that. So like I mentioned to you earlier, so right now you call 911, let's say it's a homeless problem. All that's being done is being dispatched to a police officer. Well, we know we don't need a police officer there. We want a dispatch chat or a park ranger or a CSO. We want to be able to make those decisions, not SR 911 who's subjected to our policy or direction of the police chief. So the same goes with the telephone reporting unit. 911 calls in, my bike got stalled out of my garage. Well, here, let me pass you to the telephone report. And making that as seamless as possible and being able to address those resources as quickly as possible is what we're trying.
Yeah.
Whether we can do that with the county, I don't know. If we can't, great. Can't, that's still what we're gonna try.
I had a tour at MPD and I got the vision when I heard it presented in there. And then I had a tour just 3 weeks ago of dispatch and we spent a couple hours watching all that in motion. I see the benefit on both sides because there's a point of relay that happens or there's a point of catching and sending it back. So I don't see it as super easy decision.
No, There's a lot of efficiencies that still can be gained, but what our issue is our ability to control that, right? And right now, it's harder to do as part of the Joint Powers Authority.
Yeah.
All the things I just mentioned, it's harder for us to make those changes. And as we get more and more resources, particularly on the non-sworn side, we have that control.
Right.
And so that's.
I completely see that too, and we have the most options to serve, right,
what we have
services.
by far the most.
Yeah.
But 0% of control. So, we can.
There's there's ears in the room for the county.
I literally have 2 days left.
Not that one.
We call Manny. Manny would be.
All right, thank you so much, Joe, for your time. Special thanks to the city of Modesto for providing lunch as well. They were our lunch sponsor. So thank you. Thank you. Yeah, on measure 8. Thank you for filling our bellies there.
Thank you, sir.
Do we have a copy of this presentation? It was
I
sent
can
in?
send
Okay,
it to you.
okay, great. Yeah, we'd
I
like
have your
to
PowerPoint. Can I hang
send
on
that
to
out.
It's on.
it? Can I save a copy?
Awesome. Okay, yeah, that would
Don't
be
think
great.
anything else on the drive.
If we can distribute
Always
that
ask
just to our
first.
members. So, just a little look ahead, and some updates. March, 15th is our next meeting. Stanislaus County CEO Jody Hayes is coming in to give us an update. The topic, I believe, is still TBD. They are sponsoring lunch, so you can expect lunch. The only thing you cannot expect is me. I will not be here next month. I will not be here the month after that, and I won't be here the month after that. But Christine Swinninger, to my right, has been feverishly taking notes and observing me. And she has graciously stepped up to sort of co-chair and lead the next 3 months. If she's unavailable for either of those 3 months, Trish can lead it or John Valines can lead it. And maybe I'll come back and I won't even have a job here anymore. Who knows? But she's gonna step in and lead these things sort of on an interim basis to cover me. 90-day probationary period. No, you're in good hands. She is fantastic. So look forward to hearing from Jody. Look forward to lunch, March 15th. Beyond that, I'm leaving her with no guest speakers, no lunch sponsors. All on you. All on you. Yeah, no, but beyond that, with all seriousness, I don't have anybody booked yet. We've sent out some emails to some prospective speakers. I think last year going into the holiday season, I booked the first quarter, and here we are coming up against the end of the first quarter, if you can really believe that already. So if you have any suggestions, thoughts, send them my way, email them to me. Folks are normally willing to come in and speak to this group. It's a good, friendly group for this all of you. So.
I can give a couple teasers. We will have at some point in the next 4 to 5 months, a representative from US Chamber will be coming to present between EDC and GRC. They actually may present at both. We have a representative on economics from Cal Chamber coming and one on government relations coming. What else did I tell? We're working on pulling something together to talk about retail theft with, on the grants that the county and the city got, and then an ADA. I'm hoping to bring all 3 in at once. I heard them present together at a business, retailer meeting. So we're building up some interesting stuff. Yes, ma'am.
Our next EDC meeting is this fall.
Oh, yeah, John would appreciate a plug.
Next EDC meeting will be out at the mall. We'll be taking a tour, a little bit of a back of house tour. I'm showing you some things under construction, some renovations and refreshments that have happened at the asset since maybe the last time you were there. I'd love to see you out there at what's in March 6th, I think it is.
Yeah, and lunch is provided.
And lunch is provided.
And all the pretzels in Cinnabon?
Is that a
More
request?
substantial than that, but you can certainly have something along those
Yes,
lines.
March 6th, still at 11:30, and we will be sending out information on parking and whatnot, within the week. Or posting it.
Right on. I'll take speaker suggestions, and if you don't have any of those and you just like to sponsor lunch and have your place of work or employer or your own company acknowledged for that, let me know.
Get out and vote at the primary.
And vote. Good luck to everyone around the room who is up for reelection or running. I'm looking over here first. I'm looking over here. You need to send your folks out to find,
This will be on the ballot, but they're unopposed. I guess I
find,
should-
yeah, send your folks out to find all of your opposing signs next to your signs and continue to rip them down, because I keep seeing that happen. But what business owner would allow two competing signs?
She's gonna get over 80%.
Oh, my gosh. let's
Everyone
just
in
cut it
Tony
right
to
here.
vote. 80%.
Landslide. All right.
Everyone
fingers are
online,
crossed.
thank you for joining us.
We'll see.
Bye, Chris.